Hey guys, we're not live. We're recording on the podcast C10 America Talks, and we're talking right here on YouTube. I needed a day to kind of take and kind of reflect on what happened. Just like many folks out there had to reflect on what happened. So I did. I'm glad I did. And in the meantime of doing that, I was crying like a baby, and upset and stuff like that. I didn't know what to do, so I wrote a song and I put it up over on TikTok and all that. And if you guys want to get it and download it, just share it to everybody out there. Anyways, guys, we're back here, and the studio took a day off, much needed day off, and today is Friday, September 12th, day after 9/11. I have to say, my heart goes out to everybody that was affected from 9/11. Back then, it was, the kids of, the fallen, all that. And now they have grown into mature, young adults and, all that stuff. So, my thoughts, my prayers go out to everybody affected, all the families and all that. Anyways, we're back here in the studio doing what we do best, bringing you guys awesome content for C10 America and all that. And there's a video right here. This live is brought to you guys by TheEdgeRadioUS.com. That's our buddy Johnny Blender over in Louisiana, matter of fact. And I think Johnny is retired, building awesome hot rods and all that. And this guy is very, very talented at what he does. He builds, hot rods and, old trucks and rat rods, and he builds, it all over in his, shop, guys. And then, I think with, being retired, that gives him, the time to build these, hot rods and all that. And then, dude, he owns an online radio station. Like, we own, this online magazine. He owns, that awesome radio station. How cool is that? So, he can be at one point, turning the wrench, and then at, another point, he can be, spinning, the tunes and, all that. So that is, so cool. So anyways, if I can, I want to just run down, a couple of our, sponsors. I want to talk about real quick, Boss Hog torque converters. Excuse me, you can find them online on YouTube here, or, over on Facebook. Boss Hog torque converters.com. They're located at 2817 East Avalon Avenue. That is Muscle Shoals, Alabama, zip code 35661. 35661. You need to give them a call. Their number is toll free. Zip code 888-267-7464. one more time, that's a toll-free number, guys. So I know you're on the podcast and you're like halfway around, the world. That's awesome. We have folks tuning in from Japan, from England, from the UK, from the Netherlands, from Saudi Arabia, from India, and hello to everybody out there. And we know you guys have a choice to listen to the different podcast episodes where we're so blessed and we're so we feel so good that you guys chose this podcast to get onto and listen to. That is so cool. So anyways, that number is 888 toll free 267-7464 7464. We want to head on down to a little town called Bridgeport, Texas. Bridgeport, Texas. Yesterday's 50s diner it's located at 305 West US Highway 380, Bridgeport, Texas 76426. Then zip code 76426. That's yesterday's 50s diner, 305 West US Highway 380, Bridgeport, Texas 76426. If you need to call them, give them a little ringy dingy at 940 area code 683-6620. That number again, 940 area code 683-6620. So that is, pretty awesome. I was talking to Matt, and Matt is one of the owners. I think Matt, his brother, and the nieces and nephews that own the diner. That is awesome. But earlier this year, I was talking to Matt. We're talking about the diner, and then I'm gonna be doing lives for C10 America to kind of grow the name and all that out there. And he asked me, he's like, "Hey Rich," I'm like, "Yeah, what's up? What do you need?" And he said, "Hey," since you're gonna be talking about the group, you'll be talking about us in the group. Hold on, I didn't check this prior to going live. I should have. Hey, we're good to go. The mic is up. I failed to check the microphone before I went live. I just wanted to, or not live, before I did a recording. Normally I do it all the time, but it just slipped off my mind to do that. I was worried about the podcast, but I didn't check the actual mic coming in for sound. But anyways, I was talking to Matt earlier this year, and he knew that I was gonna be doing these lives and all that for the group and all that. And he told us, well, you know what? He's if you can, he's we have a new new thing we just started. Well, yeah, what's that? He's a dude, Rich. We have homemade hand scooped ice cream, and he said, if you can, be sure you let your members out there know that we're doing homemade hand scooped ice cream. So, anyways, I'm letting you guys know they have, I guess some pretty good homemade hand scooped ice cream. And I haven't had it yet. I had, the old ice cream. I haven't had, the new, hand scooped and all that. And to be honest, I can't wait till I go back and try it because me and Scott Stout, we're looking at doing, a full blown, YouTube, production over there if we can. Now we need to still talk to Matt and his brother, see if that's possible. And if that is, I want to get more batteries for the camera. Get a couple more memory cards because I'll be using the camera on the recorder, or I'll be using the camera as the recorder on the tripod, and stuff like that. So we'll let everybody know when we do that. But I want to say a big shout out to Loaded Dice Speed Shop. Loaded Dice Speed Shop rocks. That they're located at 6831 Ash Street, Frisco, Texas. That is Loaded Dice Speed Shop. Phone number, area code 214-705-6442. That is 6442, area code 214. These guys, they do some, awesome, hot rods, maybe that awesome 55 Bel Air over, in the back, but up by the, up by, the offices and, all that. Or that, awesome, C10 trucks over in the corner getting airbags installed. These guys are awesome at what they do. Then you need to email them. You can do so at garage at loadeddicespeedshop.com. That is garage at loadeddicespeedshop.com. And their address, once again, 6831 Ash Street, Frisco, Texas. And these guys, I'll say it all over again, these guys, I believe they have, the dream team out there when it comes to building, these awesome, cars and, trucks. They have their idea, and they put it into, action, into motion, and that is, awesome that they taken, I said before they have a dream team, of builders for, these cars, these trucks. We see them almost every time we go out there. We see their booth out there. And Aaron and his wife, they own Loaded Dice Speed Shop. And not only do they own it, but they're out there, constantly, each and every day, making it run, and they're out there, just, I think Aaron's working in the back, working on trucks and all that, and then his wife's, up front, but that is freaking awesome. If you guys get a chance, I would take and give them a call, 214-705-6442. That's 214-705-6442. You can give them a call and maybe even call them today. If you can. They're loaded.speedshop.com for everybody listening out there on the podcast. Loaded.speedshop.com. Go to their website or call them today. And Aaron and the crew, they're top notch people out there, and we I think we see them at like every show that we go to, and check out. Either we have a booth there or we just go there. We cover that show right out there. So anyways, I want to say a big shout out to Connor's Car Show. Connor's Car Show is one of the car shows that comes around here in Texas that we cannot wait to go to. It's freaking awesome. It's amazing. It's it looks like it grows each and every year, and it has a great venue, and that venue is the Keller Town Hall right over in Keller off Bear Creek Parkway, and it's so cool that all the cars start showing up about pardon me, all the cars start showing up. I think Ty told me before, cars start showing up probably about 5 o'clock in the morning out there. So that is awesome. It is the car show to go to each and every year. They take and they hooked up with the Down Syndrome Partnership, Cook's Children's Hospital, and recently the Scottish Rite Hospital. All this for the kiddos out there with life-threatening diseases and illnesses and all that. And little Connor is I like to call little Connor the Grand Marshal, because dude, that guy got it made. He's not walking around the car show. He's always in a golf cart with mom or dad and driving around, with mom or dad, in the car show. That is awesome. I call him the little Grand Marshal, because let's call it what it is. It's he is the Grand Marshal of the car show. Matter of fact, well, his name says it all, Connor's Car Show. So that is Connor's car show. Anyways, today's sponsor, big thank you going out to TheEdgeRadio.com, TheEdgeRadioUS.com. Let me fix it. TheEdgeRadioUS.com. My friend, your friend, Mr. Johnny Blender over yonder, over in Louisiana. Johnny, if you're listening, man, we love everything you do. We love, the music you're putting out, the rock and roll, the old music, from, back in the day. Dude, I think I heard something like, a couple of weeks ago or whatever. And guys, it took me back to when I was in high school. And it's a weird how, thoughts and smells can take you back to a pretty previous time, in your life, and that is so cool. So, anyways, go check out TheEdgeRadioUS.com with my buddy Johnny Blender over there. Matter of fact, we have to get our new radio ad made for C10 America. Get that sent over to Johnny so he can start promoting C10 America on their radio over there. Anyway, today over in Facebook, today is Fabulous Friday, and so Fabulous Friday, we have a live, like a 2-hour long live going on over there at 9 o'clock Central Standard Time. So if you guys want to tune in, head over to Facebook, become a group member. And guys, I was looking at, the numbers this morning because this is what I do for work. I guess I'm a, content creator. I guess you would, quote, call me that right now. Talking about, C10 America and building our, C10 platform, and, all that stuff. But, by the way, I looked at, the numbers over in, the group, and dude, we're holding steady. We're at 68.9 thousand. So we're just shy of hitting 69, and then I think by Christmas, my good buddy rolling with Roller and Derek, his podcast show can be seen right here on YouTube or over on Facebook, and then Roller has a brand new show coming out, brand new podcast where he talks about everything that has a pedal in it, and it's called Pedal to the Metal. Pedal to the Metal. So anyways, that'll be debuting. I think he has 2 more months to go on that, and then he can start doing lives over on Facebook in that group. And I don't know why, but Facebook says for in his group, I don't know if it's every group, but in his new group and on that, he needs to do more content posting, all that stuff, and he can't post for like 60 days. What's that? That's 2046. That's like three months. I think he has 2 more months, to go. Maybe even 1 more, month to go. Excuse me. But we are at 5:52. We're gonna go until 6:05. So we got 10 minutes here. We got like about 15 minutes. So, anyways, over in the group, today is Fabulous Friday, where we just talk about the group and on that. And by the way, guys, that table right back there, we're refinishing. That table. We're putting an awesome tabletop on there with the help of you guys out there. We need you guys to send us some decals, because we'll talk all about who sent the decals and all that today. 9 o'clock Central Standard Time, we'll be giving everybody a plug over on the website, and all that stuff. So be sure to check that out. Anyways, guys, I want to tell you about You know, one event that we'll be at on Saturday, October 11th. It starts at 9 o'clock a.m. It's over in Newitt, Texas. Newitt, Newitt, Texas. And it's called the Rusty Krusty Rats and Rust Car Show. And, my buddy, she's awesome. She's, over in, the group. I don't know if she's watching here on YouTube, but if you are, a big shout out to Wendy McLeod. Wendy McLeod has an awesome, C10 that we put in, C10 America, the magazine. How cool is that? And by the way, guys, our online magazine, it is only $5 for members, and it's $10 for non-members. So if you're a non-member, head over to the website www.c10americamagazine.com. That's www.c10americamagazine.com. Head over there and get signed up for only $10. If you're a member over in the group, you're all, you know what? I've been a member for, 2 days, or I became a member yesterday, or, I've been a member ever since you started, the group, but, I've yet to sign up. I just can't, find time to do that. Well, you know what? If you guys want to do that over, in the group, you're a member, contact me over in, the group, or, if you're watching this video or listening to, that podcast, if you're listening to, that podcast, you can very easily email me over at texasrich@c10americamagazine.com. One more time, that's texasrich@c10americamagazine.com. And, if you're watching here on, the, good old YouTube channel, go ahead and drop me a comment right down below, or, you can wait till we go live over on, the Facebook page. Today is, the last day of the week that we go live. Remember, guys, we do it Monday through Friday during, the week. Monday through Friday, we do our lives. And then, Monday through Sunday, we do, our little show, little commentary, whatever, on YouTube and, on, C10 America Talks. So you guys on the podcast, you're listening to, C10 America Talks out there. We love you guys coming in each and every morning. Today is Friday, September 12th, one day after 9/11. We're currently sitting at 5:57 a.m. I did tell you guys we are going until 6:05. So, anyways, big shout out to all the sponsors, and if you guys can, you support us and all that. That is, so cool. Do us a favor and help support, the sponsors out there, and because we want to show them love, because, they are showing us love. Like all you guys out there, you're showing us love, and, that is, awesome. So if you're a member, you guys sign up for $5. If you're not a member, hit that website, www.c10americamagazine.com. Get signed up for only $10. Guys, gals, and C10 lovers far and wide. Yes, a rumor is true. You heard it right. We have a new truck talk show coming out. That's going to debut after Christmas, where we're going to go out and pretty much do a meet and greet with you guys. We're going to come out to your shop, your man cave, your garage. We're going to sit down. We're going to talk about, your awesome, C10 truck, your awesome, passion out there, all that, cool stuff. And we're going to take and talk about it. And it's, going to be called Tailgate, wait for it, Tailgate Thoughts. So that is exactly what you guys will be doing. Pardon me. What you guys will be doing. You'll be giving us your thoughts, your passion, your determination, all this, cool stuff on, your build. And by the way, guys, I know some of you out there, maybe you're using your truck in your garage as a catch-all, and you might have stuff stored on the hood, boxes, Christmas, decorations, like just thrown everywhere on, the hood. Then you have some half-open boxes, in the bed of the truck, maybe some garbage bags, in the back of the truck, with, maybe the stuff from Christmas that you put in that you haven't put up in the rafters yet, but you just put it, right there and said, hey, I'll get to it, tomorrow. Anyways, I have a good friend here on YouTube, Pat Flan, that I want to give a big shout out to. He's a big mentor, of mine. He is the guy that, told me about getting on and starting a podcast. Big shout out to, him. And then, somebody that really shaped my career and, my path for me is Mr. Hot Rod Guru, Hot Rod Icon, my icon. I love him and his wife, Mr. Boyd Coddington. And he was a great guy for me. I loved, being around the guy. Me and Dad would see Boyd out there at, the shows and all that. I wish I knew him out there at the shows. I did not know him out there at the shows, but it was in 1994. I got to go to his shop, got to meet him, and I got a tour of his whole shop. He gave me a tour, of the back. It was a self-guided tour, but he gave me authorization to go out back, take photos of whatever I wanted. Nothing. What was so cool about Boyd, man, nothing was off limits. He gave me free reign to, shoot or take pictures, of whatever I wanted, do photography, and stuff out there. And, I remember, that one day I got done from, taking photographs, and, I walked in and, mind you guys, I got ready to, leave, and Boyd either heard me or saw me come in from the shop, and he came up to me and put his arm around me, and he's like, hey, kid, keep shooting. you never know where it might lead. Hey kid, keep shooting. You never know where it might lead. Well, what do I tell you that? I tell you that because, pardon me, the nose. I tell you that because, I kept on shooting for like 30, plus years. And here I am. Today I'm 53 right now. I had to think about it for a minute. And I went into a shop at 18 or 19, and I only had my mom's 35 millimeter film camera. Remember film? We had to go to the drugstore. We had to buy, the film, and then you went to the car show. I remember going to a car show down in Marietta, California, when me and Dad lived in Temecula, and it was the Father's Day car show right there at I forget that one street down there, but they had an awesome park down there, and they had a Walgreens on the corner. The park was behind, the Walgreens. It was, I think it was on California Oaks Road, right off the 15 freeway on California Oaks Road, whatever park that is right there. Anyways, they had a Father's Day cruise or Father's Day car show at the park. And I remember going there. I had Mom's 35 millimeter film camera. And I remember just taking some little pictures on that. And the film ran out. And I was there for most of the day, so I needed more film. I couldn't take out a memory card, put a new one in. And memory cards and digital cameras, they're like, they weren't very, very popular, back then, right then. So I remember going to Walmart or not Walmart, Walgreens or, CVS right there. And I bought a roll of probably 24 exposure Kodak film, 24 exposure. And I took and came back to the car show. And then I put it back in my camera. Remember, you had to pull, a little out of the film and then put the film in with your thumb, in that little crevice in the camera. And then there's, a couple little dots on each side that you had to mock up, or you had to, put the film that lined up with the holes in the film on, the dots in the camera. So then when you would either wind it or shut it, hit the button, then it would automatically, go around. So I did that for many, many car shows. And then I remember, we always went to, the Temecula Rod Run. That was awesome during, the summertime and all that. And it was, I think maybe they did it at the time we lived out there. They did it like twice a year. And that was, it was so cool. It was, I think one time, in the summer, and then, in the, fall or something like that, because I remember going to it when it was hot, and then I remember going to it when it was kind of breezy, out there. Anyway, we passed 605 to 608, so I guess we'll go to 6, 15, I guess. But anyways, that was some good times on there. They used to always fill up the straight and the side streets, the Temecula Rod Run. So I give them a shot out there, the Father's Day cruise, and then the Temecula Rod Run on there. You guys are freaking awesome. Then don't forget, guys, our awesome metal prints. They come 11 by 14, 16 by 20, and 20 by 30. I'll be going down the prices for those sizes today over in the live on Facebook. So you need to go over there and find out the prices. We do some awesome metal features, and show you one right now. Hold on, if I can get one here. But these are only available for folks that we put in our magazine over in the group. So 2 things, guys: you need to be a member. You need to be chosen to be in the magazine. So if you clear those 2 things, if you're a member up there, and then we choose your truck to go in the magazine, then awesome. Then you can get a metal print. These, like I said, they're the smallest ones. We have 11 by 14, and it only goes up from there. But these are $99. They're $99 for the members and all that. Now, however, if you're not a member but you want a feature, we do features, but they're not magazine features. We do a hold on, itch my leg. Anyways, we do features for folks that are not in the magazine. Matter of fact, I just did a new one in here, and it's like it's 11 by 14, and it's the half picture up on top would be your truck, and then we need 3 more pictures: an edge shot, interior shot, and back end shot. And we do features for you guys and all that, but those features are $125 if you're not a member. If you are a member and then you're in the group and you're chosen for the magazine, these are $99. The other ones are $125. So anyways, these are freaking awesome and badass, guys. And then let's see here. We just started doing our awesome show boards, and those are 20 by 30 show boards, and like our metal prints, we do them landscape, while the show boards are portrait. And I've seen a couple of show boards out there at the shows and all that, and pretty much if you don't know what a show board is, it's that big display board out in front of a car, or it could be a truck, right at the car show or the truck show you go to, and it normally has a photo of the vehicle of the car, the truck on it, and it has a story on it, a little bio, maybe some specs on it, well, we started doing our own, show board, but we do ours on metal, and other people, they do them on like foam core, they do them on plastic, all that stuff. And ours are, on metal. They're all great on that. But I would, if I had a choice between plastic and metal, I'm gonna go with the metal, all day long, because after time, that plastic is gonna take and it's gonna break down from the sun. The sun, constantly, shining down at that show board, and it being in a plastic enclosure, it is gonna after time it just gonna start breaking the molecules down. And why do I say that? I say that because me and Dad had a plastics business out there in California that we ran for 10 years, where we made a lot of stuff for the circuit board industry out there. And they're not there no more. They've gone to other places and all that. But we know for a fact that the sun breaks this stuff down when the plastic has been outside. We would use polypropylene plastic, that, and the sun, when the sun would break it down, it would almost like become like chalk, pretty much, it just boom boom boom, and it's kind of decaying away, it's just becoming a chalky stuff, on your hands and on that. And it was we'll have the prices for the metal prints, the metal frames, the metal show boards, and then guys, I'm gonna take and will do me a new metal sign today for the shop. I'll get that put up over on Facebook, and we already have a no parking sign, C10 trucks only, up over at the website, and I think we have another sign up over there. So we're gonna get another sign made, and then I'll get that put up too. I'll show it over in the group later on today. It might not be right at 9, but it'll be later on. So okay, I guess we're gonna go to 6:25. Okay, 6:25. Anyways, guys, if you're still with us up there on the podcast, you guys rock. Thank you guys so much for tuning in and listening on this fabulous Friday, September 12th. We're at 6:17 a.m. right now. So, man, you guys definitely, amaze me. There is, so many, awesome people right here in the group, watching us, and just over in, the Facebook group, I meant, the channel right here, and you guys, I seen, a lot of your videos out there of, your C10, what you're doing, dropping like an LS in there, maybe doing an LS swap, maybe putting a new Magnum Flow muffler on it, maybe doing whatever you do to your pride and joy. I've seen all these awesome videos, and I try and go on there and comment on them. There's a lot of videos on there, and you guys and gals are very, very talented. I think I seen a video a couple days ago over on Facebook, and it was the father who was videotaping his little daughters, and they had little mechanics wrenches on, and they're in little sundresses, and they're out there, and they were taking apart, I think it was a 65 C10. Then another video, I saw the one video they're doing something. The newer one I saw, they're doing something, I think, on the frame on the back end. And then the first one I saw, I think the one little girl got under the dash with the power tools, and she was taking off the steering column, taking all the bolts out, and then I think her sister went out to the front of the truck, and she had some power tools, and she was taking off the bolts and stuff in the front, so her sister could pull the steering wheel column out of the hole in the floorboard after they got the bolts out, and that was so cool. That's what I say, all the time. Then we need to get the younger generation, involved in. Yep, I'll call it our sport. We need to get the younger generation into, wanting to work on cars, wanting to work on, C10 trucks, and what do you think they're going to ask for when they're 15 years old? Or, if they keep going how they're going, what do you think they're going to be doing at 15? Huh? They're going to be I would think at 15. I mean, they're 5 or 6 or whatever, 7 now. I would think when they're like 15 or whatever, they're gonna be freaking putting that whole truck together themselves. That's gonna be so cool. Anyways, we're at 6:22. I'm gonna trying to wrap up at 6:25, guys. On the podcast, we're always looking for members. If you guys out there watching us or listening to us on that podcast, you have a truly remarkable, awesome, C10 story about your C10 truck, maybe where you got it, how long you had it, who you got it from, maybe you guys got it from, granddad or, what have you. Maybe it was, your first truck you drove to school, and all that. We want to hear those awesome stories, and we want to give you the platform to tell your story, about, the truck and, all that stuff. Anyways, we're always looking for getting people on here. We're looking at getting Chip Foose on the podcast, Dave Kindig, Jay Leno. We sent an email to. Haven't received a reply yet. Tim Allen, Joe Martin, our friend is Joe Coddington, the wife of late great hot rod icon Boyd Coddington. By the way, Joe just started, the Coddington Speed Shop, and so if you guys need hats, you need stickers, all that, you need to go to CoddingtonSpeedShop.com. That is CoddingtonSpeedShop.com. Let's show them, some love and some support and all that cool stuff. Then we want to try and get Bill from Extensive right down there in Houston on the podcast. Anyways, dude, can you recall 3 months ago we got contacted by email and by Facebook Messenger. We got contacted by Meta, the company behind Facebook, and it said we brought over 8 million new people to Facebook just within the 2.5 years of us doing our videos, our content, on that. That is so cool. So, and don't worry, we're coming out to your man caves, your shops, and your garages, guys. Anyways, we're at 6:25. Told you we're going to 6:25. Anyways, guys, we'll be doing a live over, in the group that is C10 America on Facebook, right over there at 9 o'clock Central Standard Time. We're going to take and gear up the old podcast again. So this has been C10 America Mornings, right here, the video audio version of, C10 America Mornings. And we will see you guys over on Facebook in, a couple hours. So it is 6:26 right now. We'll take it, get off here. We love you. Come see us. And we'll see you guys soon. Take care.